All right, here we are, the latest, this episode number 10 of the Album Exchange with Larry the Canadian Stud Muffin, Glenn Kellaway from the basement, Chris Levine, the Refresher Podcast, Marsha P., and myself, also known as the bald guy that somebody wants to kick off of the show. So, because he doesn't like the fact that I'm bald, and also I use more than 3 words for my description of an album. So, um, we're giving our scores, correct? Right? That's first thing up.
Yep. We're doing a little review. Yep.
So I obviously went first last week. So we'll go to Marsha. Marsha, you will be first. Who did you pick?
I picked well, Steve, I picked your mystery album, which was Tommy Bolin.
Yeah.
And if nobody's seen it yet, I definitely recommend you check out Steve's Tommy Bolin thread that he posted this morning. It ventures a little creepy because of Steve's man crush, but if you can get past that, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And then I chose Larry's Northern Pikes. I will start with the Northern Pikes. So when Larry had presented the album last week, he said that it was an easy listen. And he primarily said it was an easy listen because it's 32 minutes long, 34 minutes long, somewhere around that. But I found it to be an easy listen because it's fun and it's light. You know, it's not breaking any boundaries or bringing anything new in terms of like a message to the masses or anything like that. It's just meant to be fun and airy and light and breezy, and it succeeds at that very, very well. Let's see what else. You know, it's the type of album that I want to listen to, like if I'm cleaning the house. Just pop my earbuds in and turn that one on because it's going to keep the energy up. Like it's not going to bring you down with sad lyrics or, you know, really morose sets of tempos and things like that. It's just it's fun. I give it a 7. Ooh. And then Steve's Tommy Bolin. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. May I interject? When you picked it last week, I was like, oh no, because I thought, my God, if anybody were to pick that mystery album, I wanted to be any of the other guys. Go ahead, because I think he may have gotten a little too jazzy for you, and a little too jammy for you.
Yeah.
See, if you had taken Teaser, the first album, you wouldn't have gotten it.
I'm smelling a 2.
No, I have some nice things to say. He is extremely talented, no doubt about it. And this album is very, very, very well produced. It sounds great. All the instrumentation is very clear and it's very easy to hear all the different parts and how they all work together. Like nothing is overwhelming anything else. Like the sax is real easy to hear, so are the drums, so are the bass lines. It's mixed extremely well. And they're all very talented players. But this is a case of really good musicians just making music that I don't care for. And it's not my taste. But because I recognize that there's a lot of talent here, I'm going to give it a 6. Even though this is nothing I'm ever going to revisit. I will say if there was less saxophone, we'd be looking at a 7.
Okay.
Because that sax just kind of.
I knew it was going to be a middle of the road score coming from you, so I was already well prepared for the hurt.
Yeah, that sax is a little much.
Yeah,
but and the sax definitely says, "Hey, I'm an album from the mid-70s."
It is. All right, Larry, who did you choose?
I had the Rascals Groven, and I've got a new ratings scale, like Marcia started with, and I'm using Sparks songs. So one is Bummer, 2 is Amateur Hour, 3 is I Wish You Were Fun, 4 is Thanks But No Thanks, 5 is Not That Well Defined, 6 is I Wish I Looked a Little Better, 7 is Likeable, 8 is Irreplaceable, 9 is One for the Ages, and 10 is Academy Award Performance.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. So,
and Larry, I got an idea for you. When Marcia picks one of your albums, or when you pick one of Marcia's albums and you don't like it, you could put "The Girl Is Crying in My Latte."
Yeah. So the first one was the Rascals Groovin'. I'm a fan of the Rascals because I think Chris has the album C by the Rascals that he picked. That was my choice. But I've never heard the full album of Groovin', but I loved it. The only thing is I listened to it, now I prefer stereo when listening with headphones, but with this particular album, it sucks in stereo because there's points where you think your headphones are broken because there'll just be guitar on the one side. So I listened with mono, near the end. But, Groovin' I knew, and You Better Run, How Can I Be Sure? But the vocals are so good, even by Gene Cornish, the guitarist, like 3 great singers. And I think Eddie, especially, Brigatti, is such I think he's kind of known, but I think still he's underrated, especially with the one song, A Place in the Sun, which I'd never heard before. Just amazing vocals. And the band, they're one of those 60s bands that actually played on their records. They didn't use studio musicians. So I am giving it 1 for the Ages, a 9.
I got a 9.
That was for Groovin', correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also had the Small Faces. There are but 4 small faces. Yeah.
Yes.
And once again, I'm a fan of the Faces. I've got their Ogden's Nut Gone Flake. I've never heard that album. I know it's the US version of the UK album. And Itchycoo Park I knew. Tin Soldier, I actually didn't really know that song very well, but that's such an awesome song. Once again, some of the drumming is almost Keith Moonish, just excellent. Up the Wooden Hills that Ian sings is great. Of course, Steve Marrowett, one of the great singers. So I loved that album too. It's 1 for the Ages. It's a 9.
Wow, 2 9s from Larry.
Good week for Larry.
Yeah, I played both of them a lot. Yeah.
Well, Kenny Jones, the drummer, did go on to replace Keith Moon in The Who, and then proceeded to not sound like Keith Moon at all.
Yeah,
he was a strange choice. I never understood that pick. Yeah. All right. After Larry's double Rascals, it's now Glenn. Who did you choose, Glenn?
Okay, well, I chose Chris for both of his albums last week, and I'm starting to think Chris and I have this kind of musical connection here. We're pretty darn good at picking the albums that are right in my frickin' wheelhouse. First of all, Cold Blood, which is a 60s band from San Francisco area in the Summer of Love days, and Joni Mitchell's Hejera, which is my favorite Joni Mitchell album. So I'll start with Joni because I am more than familiar with this album. It's my favorite Joni Mitchell album, and I think it's amazing. Musically, it's fantastic. Larry Carlton on guitar, Jaco Pastorius on bass. I mean, the guitar and bass in this album is absolutely incredible all the way through. It has some great tracks on it. Amelia, the second song, is my favorite Joni Mitchell song. she kind of uses a metaphor of Amelia Earhart's searching for whatever she was searching for in her airplane, and Joni's search for whatever she's searching for in life. It's a really beautiful song. But it opens with Coyote. Now, I know Marcia doesn't like this song, but I freaking love this song. It was written on the Rolling Thunder Review tour, Bob Dylan tour, and it's kind of all about that whole tour and everybody messing around with each other. And the one line, temporary lovers and their pills and powders to get them through this passion play. I mean, it's just lyrically, it's just a freaking brilliant song. And and Amelia, she has a thing like me. She had a dream to fly. I mean, it just, like I said, it's just a brilliantly written album. I love her vocals in it. She doesn't really do all that soprano acrobatics that she does on her early albums that turn a lot of people off. And I gave it an 8 out of 10 for basement worthy. I have it on CD. I have it on vinyl. I love that album. Second, the band called Cold Blood. This album's freaking fantastic. How did I not listened? I'm the biggest San Francisco 60s guy on the planet, and I cannot believe I've never heard this album. It's fantastic. Starts off with an a cappella vocal. What's the woman's name? Lydia Pence?
Yeah.
Starts off with her just a cappella, really bluesy, gospel-y feel to it. And she just got a great frickin' voice. And then the piano kind of kicks in. And the second track's a total blues track. Great guitar and Hammond organ. Had a real Joplin, like the way Janis, her style of singing, not her actual mimicking the vocal, because she doesn't have the same gut-wrenching sound that Janis has. She's more pure vocalist, but her phrasing and the way she approaches a song are very similar. Third track was really soulful, and then they do a great cover of Muddy Waters' I Just Want to Make Love to You. The one song, Let Me Down Easy, was most like Janis. It had a real more of a sound like Janis sings. And I just freaking love this album. I'm trying to find it. On Amazon, it was kind of pricey and no CD available, and the vinyl was pricey. So I'm definitely going to buy it. So anyway, another 8, 2 8s, Chris.
I'll take it.
I've got a record collector show Sunday, Glenn. I'll look for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris, you are up next.
All right, I made my list. I'll just read them to you. What I did is I just based them off of songs that I've liked over the years. If you get a number 1 from me, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but let's say that it does, you're going to get Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth. If you get a number 2 for me, you're going to get Bad. And I'm thinking U2, not Michael Jackson, but they both work. Number 3, go a little disco, Don't Leave Me This Way, Elmer Houston. Number 4, it's a Smiths record, I Want the One I Can't Have. Number 5, an Elvis Presley obscure movie song called So Close Yet So Far from Paradise. It's number 5. Number 6, a Prince song called Joy in Repetition, which means I'll probably like it more if I listen to it 10 more times. Number 7, Got to Get You Into My Life. I need a little bit more of a closeness with you, but you're off to a great start. Number 8, REM, Near Wild Heaven. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
Number 9, similar but different. We went The Cure, Just Like Heaven.
There we go.
And then number 10, there's an Adam Ant song called Room at the Top. And those are
awesome.
my 10. And thank you, Marcia, for inspiring the concept of doing this, because that makes it kind of fun.
It's funny you say that because I didn't bring mine out.
That's all right.
So my 6 is Feeling All Right, and my 7 is I Like It Like That.
There you go. Awesome. So my picks this week I had a delightful listening week. I am not going to lie to you. It was great. First off, Felix Cavaliere, Dino Danelli, and Eddie Brigatti were some pretty seriously soulful young Italians. You know, they didn't mess around. They were great. You can't fake soul. They have it. It just is just a really wonderful listening experience. You know, you remember the vinyl tag? One of the things that we all answered was something that plays like a greatest hits.
Yep.
Well, this Groovin plays like a greatest hits. It's just great track, all the way to the end. I am embarrassed to tell you that I always thought that You Better Run was strictly Pat Benatar. I had no idea that it existed before that. So that was kind of fun to find that out naturally and organically. But Groovin is just a great record. It's a great time capsule. I'm not going to belabor it. Honestly, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Room at the top. It's just a great old record. It stands the test of time. It stands alone. You can play it from beginning to end. There's no filler. Wonderful album. Now, C. I loved C. I already have C, you know, so it's one that I've had for a while and I've always enjoyed it. But again, I had the beautiful experience of hearing these guys back to back, which was really fun. I only was in a position to listen to C about 3 or 4 times, just in the background and so forth as my week went on. But it's just so easy to like. There's just such great atmosphere on that record. I am going to give that one a near wild heaven. That is an 8. And I guarantee you that if I keep listening to that more and more and more, that number is going to go up. I'm just positive, no question. But the first one, it was like...
It'll go away, sorry.
It's just there. It was just there. It was a home run first time, you know. But those were my 2 records. And definitely, the Rascals are a band that you need to explore beyond their hits.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. That puts me in the crosshairs. And I chose Glenn's Mystery album, Leon Russell, self-titled, and Marsha's Passion soundtrack from Peter Gabriel. Easy one is first, Glenn. I'm giving you a 9.
Oh man, I rocked it this week.
I mean, I love that album. I have it on vinyl. It was easy for me to pull out. I only really needed to listen to it once just to confirm my score. I knew pretty much going in it was going to be an 8+. It was just a question of how much higher I was going to go. It's a definite 9. Then Marsha gets a little more complicated.
You know how you had said,
oh God,
if anybody could not pick the album, it would be
Yeah,
Marsha.
I
I
know.
feel the same about this one and you.
Feel your pain, sister.
Oh, this is Peter Gabriel, right?
All right. Oh,
Yep.
and I forgot to show my scoring system. So I'm going to start at the lower end because when I hit number 10, that's really, I think there's one member of the panel who will really appreciate the 10. So I want to start out lowest, work my way up. Number 1, Crime of the Century.
I love that.
Number 2, Highway to Hell, AC/DC. Number 3, literally, it's Blood on the Tracks. Number 4, Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs. Number 5, Moody Blues. We're getting close, but we're still in search of the lost chord. Number 6, because now you're getting to be, you know, because if you hit 7, you know it's a decent album. So 6 is a teaser, so appropriately.
Yeah.
For Tommy Bolin. 7, Procol Harum, Shine On Brightly. 8, Humble Pie. Now we're smoking.
All right.
9 is It's a Killer, Alice Cooper. And number 10, you know, you think of things that are precious, what deserves a 10? You know, I mean, you've got gold, you've got silver, but it's nothing like a Hackney diamond.
That's incredible.
Take that, Glenn.
Good
Oh,
call.
Okay, so my other one. Okay, let's see. Passion. Let me pull out my little placard here. Okay, this is the kind of album, well, because there's no vocals. So my question is, what are you doing when you're listening to this? You know, I listened to it 3 times, and what I did the 3 times was I was either making dinner, cleaning, washing dishes, I was on the treadmill, that kind of thing, because I didn't have to focus on lyrics. It was just, it was just background music. So very tribal drums, but that part of it got to be a little repetitious for me, but still I liked it. I've never seen the movie, so I can't place any of the scenes to the music, but overall I think it still did deserve a Shine On Brightly 7.
Wow.
So
Wow. I think you did good on that, Marcia.
not high enough to buy it, but
I have to say I listened to it this week too, because I told you I own it and I've never played it.
yeah.
I liked it. I mean, and I'm exact opposite to you. For instrumental music, I'm sitting on the couch staring at my stereo. I want to hear every freaking sound that comes out of those speakers. I get mesmerized and just puts me in a whole trance when I'm listening to that kind of music.
I would bet that sounds very, very, very good on a very nice sound system.
Yeah, it does sound good
with all the different layers of percussion and everything. I bet it sounds
right. Yeah. Well,
very,
once
very
again, it's one of those, if you don't have it, you're subject to YouTube or whatever. So
yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's also probably something you feel in your chest when it's playing on a big set of speakers,
Okay, so that wraps up our scores. And from here, we bid you adieu. Thank you, everybody. And we will be back with our picks for the next week. Thank you.